This is the G Podcast with your host, Tommy B.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 194. This is the G Podcast. Yes. Oh, yeah. And especially welcome to fall 2023. Yes. That summer heat, man, it's gotta go. So welcome fall. It's fall, y'all. Each week we do news, politics, pop culture, that piping hot tea from the one and only Tonya B. Man, y'all knew the Coach Prime thing was going to end. Not the phenomena of Coach Prime, but the winning streak had to end either with Oregon or next week's USC. These are just tough teams to beat, and he's building a program. So, but I will say this. I mean, the Buffaloes won, a total of 5 games in 2 seasons. 2021 season, 2022 season, total of 5 games. And he's already won 3. And it looks like he's probably going to win 6 or 7 this season. So this is still going to be a great season for the Buffaloes. And Talib and I are going to talk about the phenomena of Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes and how it's impacted, the black community. Not the game. We're not going to talk about the game, y'all. So don't worry about it. We're not talking about the game at all, just the phenomena. And we're only 6 episodes away from the 200th episode of This is the G Podcast. We just want to say thank you so much for joining us each and every week. And let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get started with news from Syracuse Mike.
News team, assemble!
It's time for the Week in News with Syracuse Mike.
The U.S. and Iran have freed 5 detainees on each side in a controversial prisoner swap, which includes unfreezing billions of dollars in Iranian oil money by the Biden administration. The 5 Americans had been accused of being spies or working on behalf of the U.S. government in Iran. The White House says that was not true. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Monday.
I have no higher priority than making sure that Americans who are unjustly detained anywhere can come home.
The Americans had been held for years, but are now back in the U.S. President Biden announced Monday that the United States, through U.S. aid and the State Department, is providing $11 million in additional humanitarian assistance to the people of Libya affected by devastating flooding in the northeastern part of the country. The UN's Veronica Saifi.
Search and rescue teams continue to try to save lives, but the situation is far from being stable at the moment.
United Nations officials have dramatically revised the death toll estimates down to now under 4,000. The parents of Kendrick Johnson, the Lowndes County teen whose body was discovered inside a rolled-up gym mat, have filed a new federal lawsuit. Johnson died at Lowndes County High School almost 11 years ago. Lowndes County Sheriff Ashley Polk closed the case in 2022 and concluded that Kendrick died of positional asphyxiation after falling headfirst into a vertical gym mat. His parents never believed that theory, saying their son was murdered.
But as I always tell them, they killed the wrong child, but they got the right parents, because we're going to continue to keep fighting for Kendrick.
That's Jacqueline Johnson. The GBI and the sheriff are the focus of this new lawsuit. At the UN General Assembly in New York Tuesday, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said Russia is using everything from energy to children in their war effort.
Our ports on the Danube River remain the target for missiles and drones. And it is a clear Russia's attempt to weaponize the food shortage on the global market.
President Biden also said it was important to stop what he called Russia's naked aggression.
We abandon the core principles of the United States to appease an aggressor. Can any member state in this body feel confident that they are protected?
In the meantime, Republican leaders appear to be drifting further away from a resolution to avoid a government shutdown. The deadline is September 30th. A Tuesday procedural vote on the short-term funding bill was canceled, and a Pentagon spending bill did not pass thanks to right-wing Republicans. With a shutdown pending, Kevin McCarthy could lose his speakership as well. In the Bronx, New York, 2 people face federal charges following the death of a toddler at a daycare facility due to fentanyl exposure. Investigators say the drug was stored on top of children's playmats. The man who bought Twitter, now known as X, is considering charging a small fee to all users. Elon Musk says it's a way to combat bots. Bots are web robots, automated programs used to engage in social media, and are often designed to mimic human users. Bots are frequently used in dishonest ways. Musk hasn't said how much the fee would be. That's if he doesn't. At least 2 people were killed and dozens of others were injured, including 5 critically, after a charter bus filled with high school students crashed while heading to band camp in Pennsylvania. The bus was from Long Island, New York. It ended up on its side after it rolled over and slid off of Interstate 84. As of now, it's unclear what caused the crash. Rupert Murdoch is stepping down as chair of Fox and executive chairman of News Corp. His son, Lachlan Murdoch, will become the sole chairman of both companies, which includes Fox News Channel. The elder Murdoch, who is 92, says he's in good health.
Thank you, Mike, for the headlines, man. Appreciate you. And Mike's birthday is coming up in October, y'all. So, yeah. We got to make sure we do something special. Make it Mike Roberts Day. Or we do that episode before his birthday that week. But thank you so much, Mike. And the Newsmaker crew is here, y'all. Talib Shabazz is in the building. What's up, Talib?
Hey, how's it going? Tommy B.
It is good, man. Happy fall season to you, man.
Yes, I'm ready for it.
Yes, bro. I am elated. I hate summer, dog. You know how it is, the Georgia heat. I mean, I'm
in Atlanta. Yeah.
Man, and it's not completely gone, but at least, we're in the 80s and not the 90s.
True. Exactly.
Yeah, so I'm happy about that. Now, let's just go ahead and dive right into it, man. And thank you again, Mike, for the headlines. We covered a lot. Mike covered just about everything in the headlines, except something I want to talk about. And I want to focus on Deion Sanders for a minute, man. The news outlets are really jumping all over the Deion Sanders, Colorado. I guess I'll call it a phenomenon. Right. One headline reads, Deion Sanders has transformed Colorado into Black America's team. And, you can look at the TV ratings, man. The first 2 games under Deion are like dramatically higher. We're not talking about just a few ticks, but we're talking like Colorado TCU was up 70% in Black households.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about 7, I'm talking about 70%. Yeah. Then you got Nebraska and Colorado, 80%.
Yeah.
Not 8, not a tick, but 8-0. And, CNN's latest headline says Deion Sanders' audacious blackness makes him the hero African Americans want right now. It says the Buffaloes are Black America's team. Whoa, damn. And a couple of reasons quoted or noted in the story, man, is that he refuses to code switch. He's unapologetically Black and Deion. And he's destroying stereotypes about Black people. Many are kind of comparing him to Muhammad Ali and saying he's the Muhammad Ali for our time, as Muhammad Ali was in the 60s and 70s. And to quote Sanders, he says, when you see a confident Black man sitting up here, talking his talk, walking his walk, coaching 75% African Americans in the locker room, it's kind of threatening to America. Talib, what are your thoughts, man? Let's jump right into it.
Well, I know for a fact that people are actually having watch parties now. So, they are definitely rallying behind Coach Sanders, to the point where it's like, hey guys, this is the event for this week. You know what I mean? And it's garnering the kind of support that you find in, other, established dynasties, like Alabama, Roll Tide, and UGA, Ole Miss, So now you see that same kind of camaraderie and support for Deion and Colorado, which is incredible. Deion has always been an audacious individual. I mean, he had a record out. He had the audacity to not only play football and baseball at the same time, but then to have a rap career. You know what I mean?
I remember the Florida State rap, too.
Right.
The Seminole rap. Oh, my God. But I forgive him for that. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. But honestly, this is an individual who's always pushed the boundaries. This is an individual who has always been outspoken for the type of person that he is. He has been a big personality since he's been introduced to us, through football and through sports. So I don't see why it's a big deal right now, but except for the obvious reasons. There's a black guy who's winning, and inspiring, and showing that it's not just something that I said I can do at the high school level. Yeah. We went from the high school level to college. At the HBCU, what was it? Not Alcorn, Jackson?
Jackson State, yeah.
So at Jackson State, he was kicking ass, and inspiring people and getting players to move in the manner that the coach wants. So now he's on, now he's at a different school, he's in a different division. It's not just, I'm doing this at an HBCU or at a high school. I'm taking, students who are, at a certain level and, and showing them that they can excel as well. So, there's a lot of reasons why, people who only respect or like the quiet Negro, to be upset.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? You mentioned all the accolades and all the winning. We've had black coaches who have been winners. I mean, that's not the situation. I mean, this is different. I mean, because you've had like Mike Tomlin with Pittsburgh on the pro level, who's been a winner, and one of the most winning. Yeah. And you've had on the college level now, the coach for Notre Dame is 3-0, and he's black.
What was the name of the coach who was like the winningest coach in black college history?
Oh yeah, Eddie.
Right.
I know. I know. At Grambling.
Right. Exactly. So have we had black excellence before? Yes. Have we?
And we still do. Even current time, we do. But this is different.
But we have somebody now who's not afraid and who is not. Who's not giving in and who wants to buck the system. And that's the difference. Deion's always been flashy. They don't like flashy Negroes.
But, and speaking of that, his son bought a Rolls Royce, right? Went out and bought a Rolls Royce. And all of a sudden, what's his name? Tom Brady decides, well, I need to give him a call. And, what?
Well, hold on. Did Tom Brady just give him a call to say, hey? Or did he just, because it seemed like he had Deion on the show and Deion brought his son.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure, but I know it was a Fox News headline. But fact, you know how it is. I don't watch Fox News, nor do I care about Fox News. Sure. But when it's a Fox News headline, it's going to get twisted. So
of course, and that's the thing. It was, I had to, because I was wondering, like, why did Tom Brady make this comment? And then as I read some articles, it was Deion and his son on Tom Brady's podcast.
Well,
and Deion says, hey, Tom, do you think somebody like this should have a Rolls Royce? And Tom Brady is like, Rolls Royce? I think you need to be in looking at film. You know what I mean? And as he should.
Tom being Tom.
Right, exactly.
Kind of, because Tom was kind of cheap with his career. But you're right.
And Deion even said, exactly, thank you. Now you hear it from this guy. And Tom had a Rolls Royce himself. In the article, it says, they went on in the interview to say, well, something like, hey, Tom, didn't you have a Rolls Royce too? He said, yeah, but mine was rented.
Man. But let me say, man, I haven't always agreed with Deion over the years.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for his style, just some of the stuff. You know how it is. Some of it you can take, some of it just like it's a little over the top, bro.
Right.
But I will tell you, man, I'm proud of what he's accomplished with these young men and what he's doing. Going back to Jackson State, and I do believe, man. I think considering the times we're in right now, Black America needs this. They need a show of strength and authenticity because we're not getting it anywhere. Not getting it anywhere else. Where else are we getting it?
Montgomery.
Okay, going back. The chair. Okay.
Exactly.
On the pier.
Right.
On the dock.
It's what's inspiring us right now. It's when people, when brothers and sisters are not just taking it.
You know, it's like when the guy with the chair is your hero. We hurting. So yeah, Deion is a big step.
Yeah. But that's the thing. We have so little. It seems like we don't necessarily have examples of someone bucking the system like that. So when we see it, it's like, oh, hey.
But you know what? Let me learn a couple of things, man. He's boosted the economy of Colorado.
Yes.
The tickets, the merch, the sunglasses, have sold like $4.5 million in sales. Let me say this, man. A lot of Black people in America, and even, I'm watching a couple of things. I'll get to it in a minute. One's American, one's in the UK. Okay. But I'll say this, man. A lot of us, we see people who have to do the go along to get along so often. And, you got to deal with it in the workplace. You got to deal with it in society. And I just checked out, I'm watching Hulu and, I do reviews on this podcast.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And the Other Black Girl is an interesting series on Hulu because it deals with something like, how to deal with society being Black. And you're the only Black in an office place and somebody else Black comes in. And then also Dreaming Whilst Black, which is on Showtime and it's based in the UK.
I haven't seen that one.
But the funny thing, even though we're, across the pond, so many similarities in terms of how Black people got to shut up, sit there and watch people ask about touching your hair or, I went to the beach this weekend. Look, I'm almost like you. It's just too often, man, Black people have to apologize for being Black. And often, it's like you shrink when you apologize.
I was just about to say that.
It's kind of like your favorite political candidate, her poem she wrote.
Yeah.
Marianne. But people shrink. You shrink your Blackness, man, to fit in.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the other reasons, man, why, so many Black people are like, it's refreshing because, damn, I could never do this shit. I could never walk, what he's doing. People look at Deion because they kind of live, I think they live vicariously through Deion.
Of course.
The brothers are like, damn, that could be, that should be me. And a couple of other things, man, I'll mention. I want you to, jump in here as well. A couple of things. In Texas, the guy, and this all ties into what we're talking about. They just suspended a kid for wearing locks in a Texas high school. And then you got that happening. And then on the other hand, you got the mayor of Dallas who feels he has to change parties and go from the predominantly Black and brown party to the majority white party in order to advance his career. So, we see all these different, like, polar opposites, these examples, man, and it's just frustrating. I mean, people come home after work and it's like, damn, don't say nothing to me.
Right. Well, that it goes back to the code switching, like you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
It definitely is the whole thing about the shrinking your Blackness, shrinking your personality. Those things aren't. We're at a point where these things are no longer being forced on us.
Mm-hmm.
We are doing these to ourselves because we are trying to lessen, in order to fit in. And that should never be. We should never, you should never be self-conscious about who you are to have to try and change to fit into anything that anyone is doing. Mm-hmm. And, so that's what I see as a problem. We may have had to do it for survival at one point, but it's not necessarily the case right now. We have enough examples of, and I love the word, so I'm going to use it a lot during this show, the audacity, it's...
Wasn't that Obama, the audacity?
Yes, exactly. How dare you wear a tan suit, when you should be wearing brown or black or, blue. It's all of these things. And at some point, we as a people are going to have to try and find some commonalities between us.
Yeah.
So that we can have some kind of foundation in which to build from, so that we, our children don't have to feel like they are fitting in anymore. Yeah. That, this society it's crazy because it's not just us. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of Asians who are feeling the same way. You know what I mean? Like they have to downplay, they have to come up with English names in order to deal in the world of Anglo-Saxons. Mm-hmm. I remember being in the 3rd grade and I had 2 Asian dudes who were in my class. One guy was from China. His name was Tay Lin, but we called him Frank.
Wow. Yeah. Hey, you see it. I mean, you see it with Asian. You see it first generation.
Yeah.
The kids who, come from, basically their family immigrated here, first gen. Yeah. You see it in the African.
Oh, you see it big in the African world. My name is Michael Odupako.
Yeah. Yeah. But he'll move, in a lot of cases, the kids feel like that's the only way, right? Because, and unfortunately, in a lot of cases growing up, they've been battered so much, by who they are that they tend to kind of erase that when they hit the workplace, or society, And
I mean, let's look at, if we look at just the quote unquote African American in this country, mm-hmm. and you take 100 people, you will get 100 different views on what blackness is to them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And, you don't necessarily find that in other, ethnic groups. Most ethnic groups identify with their ethnicity. So, they will wear traditional clothing. They will wear, sing traditional songs. There are certain things that are just passed down through the ethnic group. Yeah. And, Malcolm has said it, Martin has said it, if we are too diverse in our own heads because we don't necessarily have that same kind of ethnic foundation. There are some people who are just finding out that, their people are not really from Africa, but, great grandma was right when she said that we were Native American. So, you've got all of this stuff happening. I had somebody tell me that in a picture I look like a white dude. And I'm like, yes, that nose. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So it's like,
but you never know, man. I mean, with us, I mean, it's like not in your situation, but you're right. I mean, when we do the DNA test and it comes back and shows that you're indigenous, because of course, I mean, we could do a whole nother podcast on why it is what it is. Right. But yeah, you make a good point. Point. One quick, go ahead and finish up and we'll go to the next thing.
Okay. So really the thing is that one thing that I would like to leave as a takeaway from this is that there needs to be something that we can all come together under and say, yeah, we may have different political views. We may have different backgrounds. We may think this way or do this way, or the N-word is cool with me, but it may not be cool with you. But there's got to be 1 or 2 things that we can all say we are all dealing with. And that's what we need to come together under that banner so that we can move forward with our diversity.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Good point. Man, what's your big takeaway, your big story for the week? What's yours?
Well, I didn't really have a big takeaway this week.
Yeah, that's cool.
I really just wanted to comment on Bob Menendez, Senator Bob Menendez. Because, after, I heard somebody say, it may have been on the Young Turks I was watching, but they were like, yo, he didn't even have the decency to have a bag man. You know what I mean? Like,
you talk about audacity.
Right. Exactly.
I am audacity. I am audaciously criminal. But go ahead.
And you got busted. You got busted for doing something similar. Luckily, you were the indictment was the trial was thrown out.
Yeah.
But here you are going and doing the same thing again, and got the nerve to hide bribes in coat pockets. Like, people aren't going to find that. Like, they're not going to go and look at your lockbox at the bank and see that you've got gold bars in them. Like, what the hell? And then you want to say that the reason this is all coming down on you is because you're Latino?
Yeah.
Come on, son. Come on,
but
son.
I got two words to say for Menendez. Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci. Because
he reminds me of Joe Pesci in Casino. Damn, dog.
just blatant. I mean,
blatant.
Until
they took him to the desert.
Right.
But good point, man. I'm glad you mentioned that, and that's. I mean, you talk about polarized audacity. That's like from Dion to Menendez.
Right. Exactly.
Dog.
and as far as Republican, the Democrat, the guy in Texas switching over to the Republican Party, for what? For what? For what?
Well, I lived. I'll give you my take. I lived there for some years, man, and I have a comment. But go ahead.
I'm just saying that it just, again, what is the game?
Yeah.
What is the game?
Well, I look at it like this, Talib. He's in a city that is predominantly Hispanic. Okay. Of course, I mean, probably white and Hispanic.
Right.
And then, black. Still, solid black population, not like Houston.
Right.
He couldn't do this in Houston.
No.
But yeah, Dallas, he can get away with it because he's got the Hispanic population. We talk about assimilation. So we talk about, Hispanic, a group of Hispanic or a segment of the Hispanic population that may be Democratic. But you might also have a big chunk of that Hispanic population Republican.
Yeah.
So he probably did his numbers. He looked at it. Plus, the main thing is money.
Of course. And that's what I'm saying.
Donors.
Right.
This is money. This is about donors. This is about money.
Right.
And he looked at it and said, who's going to give me the biggest piece of the pie if I run?
Right.
Or who's going to give me the biggest piece of the pie if I'm in office?
And who's going to help me stay in office?
Who's going to give me the most money? That's what he's looking at. And he's probably looking at I'm not excusing the behavior, but I look at the Democratic. I look at the
Democratic Party.
No, I look at the Democratic Party, but I look at the demographics of where he lives, where he is.
Right.
Black, white, brown, and then black.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think he could do this in Houston. They vote his ass out in Houston, or they would have already done it.
Right.
So I'm going to leave that one where it is. Yeah. But good points, man. My heart goes out to the family of Kendrick Johnson in Lowndes County, man. According to authorities, he lost his life. Now check, by falling into the center of a rolled up gym mat at Lowndes County High School. How do you fall into the center of a rolled gym mat and die on your own?
How does a rolled gym mat stand up where you can jump into the middle of it?
Yes. So, the families, and again, my heart goes out to his father, Kenneth Johnson, his mother, Jacqueline. The family's opening up a new federal lawsuit. Right. Mike mentioned it in the headlines against Ashley Polk, the sheriff, and the GBI. It's just amazing that the feds haven't already gotten involved in this. It's just, it just blows my mind. And I'm so glad that they have not given up.
Yes, definitely.
Again, this is another story of audacity, and people being audacious because, they got the autopsy report. They got a third autopsy report, and they feel they feel this autopsy report shows the true story, and they're taking it back. So my prayers go out to them.
Have you seen the results from this autopsy?
I've only seen the mark that they say can only be caused by
a stun gun.
And that is troublesome.
Yes.
So really, I hope that they find truth in this, man. It is, for any family, but definitely for Black families in Lowndes County. There's Atlanta, then there's Georgia.
Right.
For y'all who don't know.
It's not the same.
It is not the same, y'all. For those who, if you live out of the country, you live out of the state, and you don't understand, even there's central Georgia, and then there's South Georgia. And it ain't all the same. No. So I really, my prayers go out, and I hope that they find justice. And definitely we'll keep you updated on this story.
Definitely.
Without a doubt. And one last, I got to shout out Wildflower Phoenix, man. I got to shout her out for coming on the podcast.
Oh, yes. What?
To talk about on the bonus episode this week, if you haven't had a chance to check it out. But, she made some very good points about what we talked about.
Right.
And but with how women are perceived, how sex is perceived, and the Virginia House person, the person running as a candidate on Chatterbait, she just made some very good points. And I just want to say thanks to Wildflower Phoenix. Miss Michelle, thank you so much for coming in. Yeah. We love your thoughts, though. Go to Castropolis.net, choose the people poll, leave us a voice message, and I'll play back the best. And again, thank you so much. Talib, Shabazz, brother, thank you. All right. Let's take a break, and we'll come back with Tonya B and the T. Appreciate you, man.
Peace.
More. This is the G Podcast after the break.
Hey, everybody. What's up? It's Tommy B from This is the G Podcast. We are now halfway through 2023. And if you've been thinking about starting your own podcast in 2024, I'd love to have a chat with you. The Castropolis Podcast Network is currently accepting new shows. And if you have a clear vision and a unique voice, let's get in touch. Reach out to me at info@castropolis.net or visit the website castropolis.net. Simply click on the Contact Us button. So go to castropolis.net, click on Contact Us, and just leave me a message. I'm Tommy B from This is the G Podcast, and I can't wait to help you start your very own podcast journey today.
Now then, children, it's time for tea.
It's tea time, y'all. Sippin' the tea with Tonya B.
Yes, my people. It's your girl, Tonya B. It is time to sip some special GT on This is the G Podcast. Catch us each and every week. We got a bonus segment coming up, Tommy B. I hope you told the folks about that already. Look forward to that. Check us out on YouTube. And starting this Friday, which is the 29th of September, you can check out the Birdwire, the best new and classic indie music on demand on castropolis.net. Now let's get to it. Okay, we want to say rest in peace to Iris Grimstead of the girl group 702. They broke out in the 90s with Where My Girls Out, Get It Together, and Stilo, her twin sister Oris, precedes her in death. The group 702, produced by New Edition's own Michael Bivins, and these sisters are now together holding hands in heaven, and they both died from very similar issues with organ failure. Okay. Now, we also want to say rest in peace to Fred Lewis. Who is he? I'm so glad you asked. He is the co-founder and primary writer for the group Lakeside. He wrote their biggest hits, All the Way Live and Fantastic Voyage. Remember that? Now, Tamar Braxton, we want to know who robbed you. I don't know, Tay-Tay. You got to realize you are no longer in a gated mansion in a private community where you can leave your car unlocked or you can leave the keys in there. Right now, Atlanta, she is in an apartment, not an apartment, but she in an apartment, and you cannot leave visible things in your car, even if you park it in the garage. But the word down the ATL curb said those folks, I think they might have been following her. They pulled up to her car and she had so much stuff in it, it looked like they were shopping at the Walmart. I'm just saying. Rapper Remy and Papoose have split. He held her down the entire time she was in jail. She was sentenced to 10 years. Now, allegedly, she's out here with some 25-year-old wannabe rapper who likes to go to Red Lobster, so he won't be around for long. She's denying it, but there was a rap battle in the NYC, and he got on the mic and spilled all the business. As you may know, Iman Shumpert and Tiana Taylor have separated after 10 years together, 7 years married, and 2 kids, and they are adamant it had nothing to do with cheating. And Jeannie Mai says the accusations of her cheating and sexting with her co-host Mario Lopez are not true. She's contesting the divorce. She wants to work it out, but Jeezy, he ain't having it. So girl, go on, as Neo once said. I wonder if the fact that, she has anger issues, she said a lot of racist things, and she just wasn't easy to get along with, and nobody yoked her up about her, her foolishness. Plus, when you get Jeannie Mai, you get her mother, Mama Mai, and then she moved her brother in the house. Now, Tommy B, when you are early in your marriage, you do not need to have your family members living in your house. And with that said, Mario Lopez said, I got nothing to do with this. Keep my name out your mouth. Now, Blackish star Anthony Anderson, I forgot he was even getting divorced, Tommy B, but he's about to pay his ex-wife for her pain. Now, by Hollywood standards, a $4 million divorce settlement isn't really a lot. Kevin Costner's wife is getting triple that plus every month in their divorce settlement. But here's the gag. If you break it down, Anthony Anderson has to pay his wife $20,000 for the next 200 months. And that equates to, almost 10 years. Okay, why did they cancel the Wonder Years? Why did they cancel Winning Time? I don't like that. Well, let me just say this. A lot of actors are not going on talk shows for obvious reasons because they have not, as me taping this segment, there is no settlement to the Writers Guild and the actor strike. Tamron Hall and Sherry Shepherd are governed by a different union contract, but Sherry Shepherd got COVID, so you won't see her on the on the TV for quite a while. But this is dragging on and on. It's not good because I want to see Angela Bassett's movie Heist 88. She's produced it. Her husband Courtney B. Vance stars in it. It's about a mastermind thief who recruits bank workers that he knows to steal $88 million. Gotta say, get well to Brian Casey, one of the twins and primary writers and producers for the group Jagged Edge, had a horrible accident, and even he said, I'll probably never be the same. Let's give it up for the lady I'm calling the sexiest grandmom of 2023 and 2024. I'm talking about Chili of TLC, her son Tron, and his wife. Did you hear that? His wife. They're expecting their first child. Congratulations to them. And Leslie Jones, formerly of SNL, has a new book out, The Forward, written by Chris Rock. And in the book, Leslie Jones says that Chris Rock and his daughters had to seek professional psychological treatment after the slap of the decade by Will Smith. Now, Will's launching a podcast, and anybody care? Not me. And if you like adult comedy, remember this coming Tuesday, September 26th, Lunel, the Bay Area's Queen of Comedy, is on Netflix. Her comedy special, produced by Dave Chappelle. That's all I got for now. This has been your girl, Tonya B, sipping this GT. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Check us out on YouTube. And don't forget the Birdwire on demand, starting this coming Friday on Castropolis.net. All right, Tommy B, back to you.
What you watching this week, Tommy B?
Hey, thanks for the tea, Tonya B, man. Tamar, Braxton, you know better, girl. You better hide your stuff. You can't leave your stuff in the car, in the ATL. They will steal it in a heartbeat. So, yeah, good advice, Tonya B. The Shy episode 8, season 6. Who shot ya? The mid-season finale is here. Big spoilers coming. You may want to pause until you watch. The Kevin reminiscing will break you up, y'all. I'm here to tell you at the beginning of the show, we've watched these kids grow up on television. It's really rare we have a show where we can watch kids grow up on television. And the boys on the bike scene is just golden. Check it out. Emmett and Keisha are living parallel lives. The microaggressions are killing them. But I will tell you, the one moment of support does lead to a hot bedroom moment. But, it's Keisha. So right after that, back to Keisha. I just hope they can work that out. Zaynuk and Duda are beginning to move separately. You can see the breaks forming. Rob and Tiff argue over his decision to take out Duda. Lynn Whitfield, as Rob's mom, continues to apply that pressure. Papa tells Kenya he will respect his father's wishes, even in death. Wow, a devastating blow to Kenya. Kevin and Maisha discuss their long-distance relationship. Will it last? And can Emmett get out from under Duda with his parents' financial help? Darnell goes hard. Emmett and Tiff square off about Rob's choice to go after Duda. Will Tiff's cry for help bring about another Duda beatdown for Emmett, though? Jake agrees to take over Kevin's place as he moves to LA. Shad, better find that roomie. Duda and Darnell square off, but has Darnell really made a deal with the devil when he backs down? Keisha and Nook are problematic. What will Nook do to prove he deserves Keisha? That may be another secret weapon for the crew. Victor, Emmett, and Rob discuss offing Duda. Victor says he has too much to lose and backs out of the plan. Looks like Gemma is going for Bakari's sis, Brittany. Gemma does come to her senses, and Brittany sends $10,000 for management services, guidance, and her new apartment. And she's just made a decision to move out. Her decision doesn't go over well with her dad, but he does agree as long as he gets to inspect. Jake sees Brittany as more than business, and Jake's intuition typically is spot on. So we'll see how that works out in the second half of the season. Another great flashback moment is between Keisha and Kev as they hug it out and reminisce with a run. Again, watching these kids grow up on TV is amazing. Papa shows concern over Bakari. Lene tells him not to give up. Duda's henchman Zay cuts a deal with Alicia. Lynn Whitfield. Is he her backup? Another secret weapon against Duda. Emmett and Rob shoot their shot literally at Duda. Rob is critically wounded and winds up hospitalized. Shad and Deja break up over an errant text. Shad, I told you, bruh, get a new woman. Go to the writers and say, Jason Weaver, go to the writers and get you a new woman. This ain't gonna work, bro. Alicia and Tiff clash over Rob. Lynn Whitfield makes a power move and has Tiff removed from the bedside. Indeed, a power move. The ghost of Coogie appears in Bakari's dreams. Is this just what he needs to see to get his life together? Hopefully it will be. And the massive cliffhanger. Will Victor make the ultimate sacrifice and take out Duda for the community? We will see. Overall, the first half of the season gets a B- for me. Plenty of emotion, suspense, solid representation, solid acting. But, there are few missed opportunities, in my opinion, to grow the male leads in the show. Happy for Kevin, but a bit disappointed in what's happening with Emmett, Victor, and Shad. I'm really interested in seeing where the second half takes us. My Shot Talk blogs are available at castropolis.net. Visit and see all the episodes, from episode 1 all the way to episode 8. You can check them out at castropolis.net and leave your comments. Next week, I'll catch up on what I'm watching with 2 great black shows. Man, you don't want to miss out on The Other Black Girl on Hulu and Dreaming Whilst Black on Showtime. 2 similar experiences, one in America, one across the pond. I'll see you next week. As always, y'all, big thanks to Syracuse Mike, Tonya B, Vi, Talib, author and political analyst Harold Michael Harvey. Thanks to the crew, Millennial Nick, Lady J, Regia, music by K-Dub, all those who help us make it happen each and every week. Remember, every Sunday, 6 p.m., you can stream us first. The links are in our social media in the bio at castropolis.net. Share us with friends, y'all. Don't cost you nothing. And my PSA for this episode is the experts all knew that Oregon was a long shot for Coach Prime, and USC is going to be even more of a long shot, University of Southern California next week. You still have to admit that Coach Prime, that drama is a must-see TV event, and it does warrant all the attention it's gotten. I mean, keep in mind, the team had only won 5 games total last 2 seasons. He's already at 3. So let's see how Colorado responds during a period of adversity. That's what it's all about. Appreciate you all for supporting the show each week. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notifications to get the bonus episodes during the week. Subscribe on your favorite podcast app or the YouTube channel. And big thanks to Wildflower Phoenix for joining me on episode, the bonus session 193. That episode is available right now. Go get it. With that, episode 194 is in the can. Thank you. Have a great week and enjoy your first week of fall, y'all. Peace and power to the people.
You've been listening to the G Podcast with your host, Tommy B. The G Podcast is a production of the Castropolis Podcast Network. Thanks for listening.